So, welcome to the show. Someone I'm really chuffed to talk to, Jack Smedley from Rura. How are you, Jackie? Well,
I'm very well, yes. How are you?
the very best. If a little starstruck, you'll have to forgive me if I'm stuttering a bit,
Please.
because you guys, has to be fair to be said that you guys are absolutely huge in the folk and trad scene here in the UK. You're award winning, and you guys have been going now for 10 years.
I know, I can't believe that. That's quite scary when people say that to us, yeah.
I couldn't believe it myself. Obviously, I knew you were dropping a new album. We'll talk about that. But the new album was to help celebrate the decade on the road.
hmm
I'm sure during that time, you guys are bound to have some stories.
Oh, one or two, but they're probably not appropriate.
Well. First of all, I want to talk about the whole creative process where you guys in the studio writing music for the first time. Now, us being a bagpiping show, we want to chat about bagpipes, of course, and Stephen is your piper. Do
Uh-huh.
you work very closely with Stephen whenever you're creating
Mhm.
melody lines and things like that? What is the creative process for Aurora?
Well, as a band, it's funny, I've been saying this in a number of interviews recently. Our most recent approach has been very, very collaborative. So, maybe albums one and two, it was very much that thing of like we had a tune and we just sat down and kind of arranged it. Maybe more often than not, it wasn't a tune that we'd written, it would maybe be someone else's and things. So I kind of feel like we've had two sort of lives as a band now, and we're in a period at the minute where our creative process is very different in that, like I said earlier, it's really collaborative now. So there's sets that we play these days that maybe I've just had a kind of idea, or Stephen's just had a melodic line, or even Adam, our guitarist, has had a huge um, influence on a lot of the things we've done recently. But in terms of working with the pipes, um, I think Stephen and I, our whole approach to arranging is just to try and make as big a sound as we can with the four instruments we've got. And Stephen and I obviously have to work within the limitations of the pipes, because you've
Yeah.
also got tuning things, and there are certain grace notes or like phrases that on a fiddle are dead easy, but on pipes are really, really difficult, and vice versa. So we're kind of always throwing those little issues back and forth, and then we'll settle on a version of a melody that works for both of us, and that's kind of how we go about it, I guess.
Yeah, that's if anything, it's really interesting you say that about creating a big sound. That's one thing you guys are really famous for. Obviously, pipes and fiddle is like bread and butter. You guys go together,
Yeah.
incredibly well. But it's the string arrangements, it's these huge, big soundscapes that you guys create. Is
Yeah.
that something that you consciously sit and think, right, I want something that sounds epic here? Is that what you guys do?
I think so. I think we've sort of stumbled into this place where like um we try and, yeah, like In Praise of Home, our third album that we released in 2018, that was a big shift for us, and it really it is very cinematic, and there's bits of it are anthemic almost, and yeah, we just always try, like I said, to make as big a sound as we can, but without being sort of without forcing the issue. I think it would sound contrived if we went about it in certain ways, but I think we just always make sure that the melody has got at its core is good enough that you can build on it, and make a set a kind of a journey for people, rather than um, not that there's anything wrong with this at all, but rather than put three, four, five tunes together in a set, we always like to take one melody, maybe two at the most, and make a piece of music out of it if we can.
There you go. And if anything, Jack, can I ask you about one of my particular favorite tracks off that album you just mentioned, called Lust? And
Uh-huh.
the way it builds from
Yeah.
nothing, it seems to be just that trickle, and then
Yeah.
suddenly you're just, wow, a wall of sound.
Yeah.
What was the creation of that track like?
Well, that was David Foley, our flute and baran player. He's a fantastic tune writer. He really, really is. He's written a lot of great tunes for us and other folk over the years. And that's one of his. And I think by his own admission, it was just one of these ones that he sat down on the computer and just sort of plugged it into Sibelius one night, which is the notation program that most of us use. So it sort of started out as computer music, and then we just took it and ran with it. And that's a cool set. I think when you're asking about like our creative process and the kind of sound that we try and make, I think a lot of the recent stuff actually came out of the studio on that last record in 2018, because at that point the band was sort of at a bit of a crossroads, because that was our first ever instrumental album, like exclusively instrumental and exclusively self-penned as well. So at that point, I think we didn't have much to lose, in the sense that we thought, let's just throw everything at this and worry about how to play it live later, and we'll see what we're left with, you know. And I think that's kind of where we're at now. We ended up really pushing our sound forward as much as we could, and growing the band, I think.
Indeed. So, Jack, I have to say, I've seen you guys live too many times, and you guys put on an incredible live show. Is that something that you actively work on, entertaining your audience? You did mention about taking us on a journey. Is that something that you guys really work on?
Yeah, I think it is. It's definitely something we've worked on, especially in the past 2 or 3 years. I think we've reached a point in our careers and life as a band where we really appreciate the importance of putting on a show, you know. And ultimately, no matter how well a gig's going at our end, whether the sound's terrible or whatever, we've had a really long day and all the rest of it. I think these days we're very much about switching off and going, well, you know what, all these people have come to see us and they want to have a nice night. They could be catching up with pals or family, whatever. And I think we're just at a point these days where we're able to consistently walk on stage and just switch everything else off and just do our job and make sure that we can put on a good night for everyone, you know. And I think that's what we try and do time and time again.
And you achieve it, I'll tell you that. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. So I want to talk about the new album, Live at the Old Fruit Market. I've recently just bought a copy of it. This thing is insane, man. Can I just say? If anything, what I really love about it is that you get to hear the crowd as well. Sometimes with live albums, you just hear the band. Wow. But no, like one of the tracks on there, Mary, it's one of your big anthems. Yeah, you can hear the crowd singing it the whole way through.
No, that was really, really emotional. That actually, I remember ripping my ears, my monitors out my ears at that point, because I knew the crowd was singing along, but obviously I was just like super focused on the gig and stuff. And when we hit that set, I just took my earplugs out and just listened to them. It was a very, very special night. Yeah, it was good.
It's incredible. I think at this point, Jack, will maybe drop in a little clip of Mary just to give our audience a bit of a clue as to what this album sounds like.
Oh, I don't mind winter, the cold and screaming. I don't mind just kissing when I'm with you in bed. I don't care, I'm younger, or nearly 22, but seeing no resolution is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Oh, Mary, come and rest your bones and open your curtains up windows. And my heart is heavy as a stone, and I don't know much like home.
There you have it, folks. A little clip of Mary from Rura at the Old Fruit Market. Wow, can I just say? Now, let's see, as part of this gig as well, this was your celebration concert. You also had a bunch of special guests joining you on stage. You had the likes of Ali Hutton, Finlay MacDonald, Adam Holmes, of course, joined you again, as you just heard. So what was it like on the night, on that stage, Jack, in front of all those folks?
It honestly was. It was just... it's so hard to describe the feeling. It was just an amazing night, and the energy on the stage was, you could feel it, you know, it was like electric in the room almost, and there was, I think we had about 1,300 people there or something on the night, because it was the last night of Celtic, so
yeah,
it was a big show, and it just felt like everyone in the room, on stage and in the audience, was there just to celebrate with us. And honestly, I've never experienced a feeling like that on stage before. And you know, I could go a long time. We all could go a long time without feeling that sort of energy and that kind of togetherness. Because it was like having all your best musical friends standing by your side. And the people that we'd chosen to work with on the gig, they were all people that, some of them have had a huge influence on our careers as individuals. Some of them have been involved in the band in lots of ways over the years too. So it was just a beautiful occasion. It really was.
Yeah, and if anything, man, I have to say, I'll tell you what my personal favorite track is on the album, and then I want you to tell me what yours is. Mine is Weary Days. That's always been a special track for me. I don't know what it is. Like, I could be coming home in the car from work after a crap day, and I throw that track on, and I'm singing my heart out the window. I'm sure the guys next to me in the traffic lights think I'm a lunatic. But I think we should maybe play a little clip of my favourite, and then if you could tell us your own particular favourite, Jack. So, here is Weary Days by Rura.
I'm so lucky for your kind of love, and I always wanna keep you warm, like a lifeboat on a sinking ship, like a shelter from a raging storm. Oh, you're making me a better man. Oh, your love's gonna set me free, like the sand in the desert plain, like the salt in the rolling sea. But when these weary days, when these days are done, we'll be in summer. When these weary days, when these days are through, I'll be working my way back to you. I'm so lucky for your kind of love. You've got my back if I'm wrong or right. You're the sun in the aching sky. You're the warmth in the coldest night. I know I'm in every kind of way, all the best that a girl can be. But now the blue in the sky is clear, for as far as the eye can see. When these weary days, when these days are done, we'll be in the sun. When these weary days, when these days are through, I'll be working my way back to you.
There you go. That was Weary Days. that thing still gives me, the goosebump thing in the back of the neck. I love that. So
Yeah.
what about yourself, Jack, then? What was your own particular favourite on this album?
Oh, well, that's a really hard question to answer, because I think for me, so there's a moment, there's a track on there called Horizons Part 1,
Yeah.
which, a lot of people might listen to, and it's the slow one of the gig and all the rest of it. I don't know how exciting or not that would be for a lot of people, but I remember, for me personally, when Stephen and I were playing that together, because Stephen jumps on the keys for that one, I had my eyes shut for ages, and then looked up, and Ali Hutton, who had joined us for the gig, he had done the usual crack with getting the light on the phone, and I opened my eyes at one point, and there was there must have been about 1,000 folk with the light on their phones doing that, and it was just, it was amazing and hilarious at the same time. So that was good fun, but and that's a beautiful tune, and it was really nice to play that with Stephen, and just kind of share that moment, I guess. But because for us, we were standing on that stage celebrating not only 10 years of the band, but probably like around that period, and anytime we start talking about that, it's 10 years of our lives as well, and we've all been through so much personally and together and all the rest of it in a decade, that it's actually a really amazing thing. It was quite an emotional sort of moment to live through, is celebrating and reminiscing like that and all the rest of it. So that was really nice. That was cool.
Superb. What a moment. So, Jack, I think if folks want to get a hold of this, they need to go to your website. Is that rura.co.uk to go and grab copies of it? Yeah.
Yep.
There you are. So, by way of a shameless plug, go and get the album, folks. You've been told.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, you have said about your own personal growth through the band over the last 10 years, but us as fans, we've followed your journey along that, and we feel that we've kind of grown along with you. Do you know what I mean? Like, your music marks milestones in our own lives as folks listening to you. Like, whenever I first heard The Lasher, I was courting at the time with my girlfriend, and she's now my wife, which is... So have you found that, as fans of you guys, they go through the same sort of journey and changes as you?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird one. I feel like in the past couple of years, I think that's when I've suddenly become aware, and I think the guys would agree with this, like that's when we've become much more aware of the fact that there are people that have followed our careers and have followed the band and love what we do. And I think when you're kind of younger and you're starting out, you're maybe less aware of that, and you're so focused on trying to get your band moving or your careers going, and you worry about all the wrong things. And then all of a sudden we're in a place these days where we genuinely just like going and playing and stuff, and you become much more aware of the people around you and the people that do come to your shows and things. And yeah, we've had a lot of conversations with folk in the past couple of years, like I say, and they know stuff about your gigs and your band and stuff, and you're like, geez, you guys have actually like supported us in so many ways and enjoyed what we do for a hell of a long time. And I mean, there's a guy has lyrics to one of the songs tattooed. I think someone recently called a baby Rura as well, which
oh really
is,
wow,
incredible. It's incredible that. So we better keep the band going for that.
Yeah. Well, that was going to be my next question then. Obviously, with the pandemic and lockdown, you guys haven't been able to gig this last while. But what is the future for the band rolling forward?
Well, hopefully we will get round to another studio album in the next period of time. Adam, our guitarist, is currently hiding in Halifax, Canada, and has been through most of this as well. So, but he'll be back, I think, later in the year, and from there we'll just start getting a few irons in the fire again and seeing where we're at. I think we've all enjoyed actually taking our foot off the gas in a lot of ways, it's intense, 10 years, gigging and having to constantly be on that treadmill. It's actually been as terrifying as our predicament is at times. There's also been kind of nice things about it. So hopefully in a few months we'll be kind of ready to go again and feeling rejuvenated. So
there you go. And now, obviously, for ourselves in the Rab Show, we're a bagpiping show, and we know that you guys were on stage with Scottish Power Pipe Band. I have to ask you, how did you find that experience with the mighty Scottish Power?
Oh, it was brilliant, yeah. I've been involved in 3 of those concerts now. So is that the kind of opening night of Piping Live or something, or is it a different?
No, that was Wednesday in the Glasgow Royal Concert Hall. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I've been lucky to be part of a few of those concerts with different bands, and I just can't believe how the level of like production that goes into it and everything is just it's like a rock show almost. I've never seen a PA so big in the concert hall. But the pipe band thing is incredible because for so many people to play so solidly together like that, and some of the arrangements are amazing too. So yeah, it was a total pleasure to be asked to be part of that gig, and we've got personal friends from uni days and stuff that are in the band and things too. So really nice, really cool to be part of that, and I'd love to do something like that again in the future with them, definitely.
Fantastic stuff. Well, Jack, I'll not keep you any longer, mate, but I have to say thank you so much for taking time to chat to us here on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
I need to ask you some Rab Show staples before I let you go, though. Number 1, what's your favourite cheese?
My favourite cheese? Oh.
Yeah, have you got one?
I like a good sort of Stilton or something like that. I'm one of those
Nice. Not a bad selection. And pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
I don't dislike it, but I'd say no. Say it's a no for me.
There you go. I would agree with you. Yeah. And also, final question is, have you got any really embarrassing moments? Like, what has been your most embarrassing moment so far?
In my life?
Well, in playing in general, I suppose, on stage.
Yeah, on stage. Do you know the one story that always sticks with me is about maybe 6 or 7 years ago, in a previous life, I filled in for my then girlfriend. I had to go and do a last minute gig through in Edinburgh because she was unwell, and I had just come out of a Rura rehearsal and so my fiddle was tuned up into B flat for the pipe.
The pipes, yeah.
The Visit Scotland kind of corporate event, and I battered it through to Edinburgh and literally jumped on stage with this band who had been told a set of tunes to play. They had the arrangement. I knew the tunes already anyway, and I started playing, and I was a semitone higher than them. And I had to just stop after about 8 bars and pretend that was my introduction, and then shout down the microphone. I was like, "Hi, my name's Jack, and I'm going to play some tunes." And I'm like trying to batter my fiddle back. Oh, it was awful. So bad.
Oh, brilliant! I love that. So, Jack, I have to say, please pass on my best wishes to everyone in the band, and for anyone listening right now or watching this video, go and get this album. You'll not regret it. It definitely gets the Big Rab Show's seal of approval.
Okay.
So, we'll keep in touch, Jack. And as I say, any gigs and that coming up, definitely let us know, man. We'll be more than keen to go.
Yeah. Cheers, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you.